I pull up to my Uncle Ray's cabin in the thick of the northern woods, tires crunching over gravel that's more like a forgotten trail than a road. The air hits me first, crisp, pine-scented, with that earthy dampness from the mossy ground. It's late afternoon, the sun's dipping low, casting long shadows through the evergreens that make everything feel a bit stretched out and unreal. My heart's got this mix of excitement and that butterflies in the stomach vibe, you know? Like stepping into a world that's all yours for a week. Uncle Ray's waiting on the porch, his flannel shirt tucked in, his weathered face cracking into a grin as he waves. He's a big man, broad-shouldered from years of logging, with a beard that looked like it hadn't seen a trim since the Reagan administration.
Ellie! You made it before dark. Good girl.
His voice boomed across the clearing. I laugh, hopping out of my truck, the door creaking like it's got stories of its own, the cool evening air nipping at my skin through my flannel shirt. Fall settling in early up here, and I can taste the faint bitterness of wood smoke on the breeze from his chimney. Hey, Uncle Ray. Traffic was a nightmare out of Portland. But yeah, I beat the sunset.
You made it without getting lost this time.
He asked, his voice gruff from years of yelling at squirrels or whatever he does out here. Yeah, GPS didn't screw me over for once, I reply, grabbing my duffel bag. I hugged him, feeling the rough scratch of his wool jacket against my cheek, and caught a whiff of pipe tobacco and wood smoke clinging to him like an old friend. We stepped inside, the cabin door creaking on its hinges like a sigh. The place was just as I remembered. Rustic, cozy in that no-frills way. A stone fireplace dominated one wall, stacked with split logs, and the air inside carried the faint, musty scent of aged wood and lingering ash from past fires. The kitchenette was tucked in the corner, with a propane stove, a sink that probably dated back to the 70s, and shelves lined with canned goods and dusty mason jars.
Sit,
Uncle Ray said, pulling out a chair at the scarred oak table.
Coffee? I just brewed a pot.
The aroma hit me then. Strong, bitter, with a hint of chicory that made my mouth water despite the long drive. Sure, thanks. I dropped my bag by the door and sank into the chair, the wood cool and smooth under my palms. As he poured, steam rising in lazy curls, I glanced around. No TV, of course. Uncle Ray was old school. The shortwave radio sat on the windowsill, and a stack of yellowed paperbacks leaned against the wall. The Wi-Fi router blinked feebly in the corner, its signal probably as reliable as a politician's promise out here. He slid a mug over to me, the ceramic warm against my fingers, and sat down opposite.
All right, kiddo. Let's go over the ground rules. I'm heading out first thing in the morning for that fishing trip up in Alaska. Buddy of mine's got a charter boat. You'll have the place to yourself for the week.
I nodded, sipping the coffee. It was hot, scalding my tongue just enough to wake me up, with that deep, roasted flavor that tasted like mornings in the wilderness. No problem. I've got my laptop for work, and I figured I'd hike a bit, read some books. What's the routine? He leaned back, his chair groaning under his weight.
Feed the generator out back with diesel every couple days. Cans in the shed. Keep the firewood stocked. Axes sharp, so watch your fingers. Water's from the well. Pumps manual if the power flickers, which it might. Spotty Wi-Fi, as you know, and phone signals hit or miss, depending on the weather. Trash goes in the bin by the shed. Lock it tight, or critters will make a mess.
I nod, sipping my coffee, feeling that instinctive pull to prove I can handle this. It's my first time solo cabin sitting for him while he's off fishing. Got it. Anything else? Bears? I brought my bear spray. He pauses, stirring his own mug, the spoon clinking softly. The fire pops in the background, sending a spark flying that makes me jump a little. Nerves from the drive, I guess. His eyes narrowed slightly, a shadow crossing his face that I chalked up to the dim light.
Bears, yeah, and other things. Listen, Ellie, if you hear anything unusual at night, scratching, calls, whatever, don't go poking around outside. Stay put. Doors locked, lights on if it helps. Could be bears, wolves, who knows what wanders these woods. Just stay put till morning, understand?
I raised an eyebrow, smirking a little. What, like Bigfoot? Come on, Uncle Ray. He didn't laugh. His gaze held mine, steady and serious, the lines around his eyes deepening.
Just promise me. The woods, they get funny sometimes. Old stories from the loggers, you know. Things that don't belong. But yeah, bears too.
I chuckle, imagining a grizzly knocking politely. I've seen the signs. I'll be fine. He doesn't laugh back, just gives me this long look, like he's weighing something heavy.
Just promise me, all right? These woods, they've got their ways. Been here longer than us.
All right, I promise. I held up my hands in mock surrender, but his tone lingered in my mind like a faint echo. Still, I brushed it off. Uncle Ray loved his tall tales, especially after a few beers. We talked a while longer, family gossip, how the fishing's been. The coffee cooled in my mug, its bitterness softening as I added a splash of milk from the fridge, which hummed softly in the background. Outside, the wind picked up, rustling the leaves like whispers, and I felt a shiver of excitement. A week alone in the cabin? It sounded perfect. Peaceful, away from the noise of urban life. Uncle Ray stood eventually, stretching with a grunt.
Bed's made up in the loft. I'll be gone before dawn. You take care, you hear?
You too. Catch a big one for me.
We hugged again, his arms strong and reassuring, and he headed to his room.
I climbed the ladder to the loft, the wood creaking under my weight, and unpacked my things. The bed was firm, the quilt smelling faintly of lavender. As I lay there, staring at the slanted ceiling beams, the forest sounds filtered in, crickets chirping in rhythmic chorus, an owl hooting somewhere distant. I knew this was going to be a good reset, a chance to breathe. I drifted off easily, the exhaustion from the drive pulling me under like a gentle tide. Morning dawned crisp and clear, the first light filtering through the small window in the loft like golden threads. I woke to the sound of birdsong, a symphony of tweets and trills that made the air feel alive. I felt the slight ache in my muscles from the drive, but it was the good kind, the kind that promised adventure. The smell of pine wafted in stronger now, refreshing, mixed with the fresh, dewy scent of morning mist. Downstairs, Uncle Ray was already gone, his truck missing from the drive, a note on the table, "Be safe, -R." I smiled, brewing another pot of coffee. The grounds were coarse, as I measured them out, and the percolator bubbled away with a comforting gurgle. While it brewed, I stepped out onto the porch, the wooden boards cool and slightly damp under my bare feet. The air was invigorating, sharp with the chill of altitude, and I could taste the faint metallic tang of mountain air on my tongue.
The cabin sat in a small clearing, surrounded by towering firs and hemlocks that stretched up like ancient sentinels, their needles whispering in the breeze. A narrow trail led off into the woods, probably to a nearby creek Uncle Ray had mentioned. No neighbors for miles. This was true isolation, the kind that made you feel small but connected to something bigger. Back inside, I poured my coffee, adding a dollop of honey this time, its sweetness blooming on my taste buds and cutting the bitterness perfectly. The first 3 days are blissfully uneventful. I wake to birds singing, stoke the fire, toss on a couple logs, and brew coffee to sip on the porch. I eat simple meals, canned chili, oatmeal, do Ray's chores, and hike the trails. The forest is alive but quiet, with deer flitting through the underbrush, their eyes catching mine before they vanish. Once, I spot a strange mark in the mud near the creek, too big for a deer, too vague for a bear, like something dragged itself through. Probably just a trick of the light, I tell myself, but it sticks with me. Another time, deep in the woods, the birds go silent for no reason, the air heavy and still, like the forest's holding its breath. I shake it off and keep moving. I can see why he likes it out here so much. It's so peaceful, I say aloud, my voice swallowed by the trees. At least, that's what I think, until the third night. That third night, I'm jolted awake by a sound. A low, guttural call, like something caught between a howl and a groan, rolling in from the deep woods. It's distant, muffled by the trees, but it cuts through the usual nighttime chorus of crickets and owls. I sit up in the loft, heart thudding, the quilt bunched around my knees. The air in the cabin feels heavier, pressing against my skin. I strain to listen, but the sound doesn't come again. Instead, there's a faint smell, something acrid, almost metallic, like wet fur and something sour I can't place, carried off by the draft slipping through the loft's small window. I tell myself it's just the forest doing its thing. Maybe a fox, maybe the wind. But Uncle Ray's warning creeps back, his words about things that don't belong echoing in my head. I lie back down, staring at the ceiling beams, lingering unease. But sleep doesn't come easy. The crickets pick up again, but they sound like they're rushing to fill the silence. Morning comes, sluggish and gray, the sky bruised with clouds that promise rain. I climb down from the loft, my bare feet cold against the plank floor, and notice the quiet right away. The birds, usually a full-on symphony by now, are sparse. Just a few half-hearted chirps, like they're too tired to bother. It's unsettling, like the forest hit the mute button. I brew coffee, the percolators gurgle louder than usual in the stillness, and take my mug to the porch. The air's damp, heavy with the scent of pine and impending rain, but it doesn't feel as alive as before. I sip the coffee, its warmth grounding me, and try to shake the unease from last night. Probably just a coyote, I tell myself, or my city brain overreacting to the wilderness. After breakfast, I grab my hiking boots and head out, needing to move to burn off the restless energy. The trail to the creek feels narrower today, the hemlocks looming closer, their branches knitting together overhead like a tunnel. I keep my eyes on the ground, half expecting to see that weird mark from yesterday, the one that didn't quite look like anything I could name. About a half-mile in, I find it. Not the same mark, but another one, pressed deep into the muddy bank near the creek. It's bigger than a bear print, irregular, with a smear that looks like something heavy dragged through. My stomach twists, but I pull out my phone and snap a quick picture, the camera's click sounding too loud in the quiet. The mark doesn't make sense, like something stumbled through and didn't care what it left behind. I keep walking, the trail crunching under my boots, and that's when I see it. A young fir tree, maybe 10 feet tall, snapped clean in half. I find the breaks fresh, the wood inside pale and splintered, sap still sticky to the touch, and look around. No fallen branches, no storm damage nearby, just this one tree, broken like something big leaned into it and didn't stop. My mind flashes to that sound last night, the low groan, and I wonder if this is it. The explanation. Maybe a bear, spooked or hungry, barreled through. It makes sense, but the quiet around me feels wrong, like the woods are watching, waiting for me to buy my own excuse. I take another picture, the tree's jagged break framed against the gray sky, and head back to the cabin, my steps quicker than before. The whole way, I keep glancing over my shoulder, half expecting to see something slip between the trees. Back inside, I lock the door without thinking. The bolts click louder than it should be. I pull up the photos on my phone, zooming in on the track and the tree, trying to convince myself it's just nature being nature. But that smell from last night, it's still in my memory, and it doesn't feel like it belongs to a bear. I set the phone down and stoke the fire, the logs hissing as they catch, and tell myself I'm fine. It's just the woods, right? Just the woods. The rest of the day drags on, the clouds thickening until a light rain starts pattering against the cabin roof, a steady drum that should be soothing but only amps up my nerves. I try to work on my laptop, answering emails that trickle in through the spotty Wi-Fi, but my mind keeps wandering back to those photos, the irregular track, the snapped tree. I zoom in again, tracing the edges with my finger, willing it to look like a bear print. It doesn't. By evening, the rain eases, leaving the air muggy and thick. I heat up some canned soup for dinner, the steam carrying a salty warmth that grounds me a little, and eat at the oak table, listening to the drip-drip from the eaves. As night falls, I build up the fire higher than usual, the flames crackling and popping like they're trying to chase away the shadows creeping in from the windows. I climb to the loft early, book in hand, one of Uncle Ray's yellowed paperbacks, some old pulp novel about loggers in the Pacific Northwest. Fitting, I think, flipping through pages yellowed with age. But as I read, snippets jump out. Tales of shadow beasts the old-timers whispered about. Creatures that mimicked animal calls but moved like nothing natural, luring folks deeper into the woods. Disappearances blamed on bears or falls, but the loggers knew better. Marks left behind that didn't match any known paw or boot. I shake my head, closing the book. Just stories. Campfire fodder to scare greenhorns. Uncle Ray probably fed me those same yarns as a kid, and now they're bubbling up because of one weird night. I turn off the lamp, the loft plunging into darkness broken only by the faint glow from the fire downstairs. The forest sounds resume, but they feel muted, like the woods are still holding back. I pull the quilt up, trying to logic it out. The sound last night was probably an elkin rut. The smell just some rotting log unearthed by the rain. The track, a mudslide artifact. The broken tree? Wind shear or a heavy animal? Simple explanations. City girl overthinking the wild. But as I drift toward sleep, Uncle Ray's words repeat in my head. The woods. They get funny sometimes. Things that don't belong. I squeeze my eyes shut, telling myself he's just paranoid from too many years alone out here.
Then it comes again, that low guttural call.
Closer this time, near the edge of the clearing. My eyes snap open, my heart pounding. I lie frozen, listening as the sound fades, replaced by a rustle in the underbrush. Twigs snapping like footsteps testing the ground. Is it circling? Getting bolder? I strain for more, but there's only silence now, thicker than before. That smell creeps in again. What the hell is out there? A bear, sure, but bears don't call like that. A wolf? It's not in these parts, or at least not that I've heard. My mind races through possibilities. Injured animal, poacher playing tricks, even a damn Sasquatch for all the sense that makes. No, that's ridiculous. Just logger stories bleeding into my paranoia. It's probably just the rain making everything echo funny, amplifying normal noises. But Ray's voice won't quit. Don't go poking around outside. Stay put till morning. I glance at the ladder to the main room, tempted to grab the bear spray from my bag, but I stay put, pulling the quilt tighter. The fire downstairs hisses softly, a small comfort, and I tell myself dawn will make it all seem silly. Still, sleep evades me, the darkness pressing in. I must have dozed off because I woke with a start, my heart hammering like I've been running. The loft is pitch black, the fire downstairs burned to embers. I fumble for my phone, 3:17 a.m., and hold my breath, listening. Nothing. No crickets, no owls, no rustling leaves. Just a suffocating silence, like the forest is holding its breath. That pungent smell lingers faintly, clinging to the air like a bad memory. But there's no sound of that guttural call, no snapping twigs. It's too quiet, and it makes my skin crawl more than the noise did. I lie there, quilt pulled tight, Uncle Ray's words looping in my head. Things that don't belong. I tell myself it's just my imagination running wild, fueled by that damn logger book. But the silence feels alive, watchful. I don't sleep again. Dawn breaks, gray and heavy, the sky still thick with clouds. The silence persists. No birdsong, not even a whisper of wind through the trees. It's like the forest is sulking. I climb down the ladder, legs shaky from exhaustion, and go through my morning routine on autopilot. I can't sit still, not after last night.
Grabbing my boots, bear spray, and phone, I head out to investigate, determined to prove this is all in my head. The trail around the clearing is soggy from the rain, and I almost miss it at first. A fresh set of tracks, circling the clearing like a predator pacing its prey. My pulse spikes, but I crouch down, snapping photos. The tracks loop the entire clearing, some pressed so deep the mud's churned to a slurry. Whatever made them was heavy, deliberate. I think of that broken tree, the guttural call, and those logger stories. Shadow beasts, marks that don't match. No, it's an animal, I insist to myself. A big one, sure, but an animal. Back inside, I lock the door and pull up Uncle Ray's number, my hands trembling as I pace by the fireplace. The signal's weak, but after a few tries, it connects, his gruff voice crackling through.
Ellie, you okay?
Ray, there's something out here, I say, my voice quieter than I mean it to be. I heard it again last night, closer. Found tracks circling the clearing this morning, like the ones that were by the creek. Big, weird ones. What the hell's going on? There's a long pause, static hissing on the line. When he speaks, his tone is low, urgent.
Ellie, listen to me. Stay inside. Keep the fire going, hot as you can. Only go out in daylight, and not far. Lock the doors and windows at night. Draw the curtains, and don't look outside, no matter what you hear. Understand?
My stomach twists. Ray, what is it? A bear? You're freaking me out.
Just do what I say!
He snaps, sharper than I've ever heard him.
I'm cutting the trip short. I'll be back tomorrow, late. Stay put, and keep that that fire going. Promise me.
Okay, I promise.
One more thing. Don't open the door until you're sure it's me.
The line cuts out, leaving me staring at the phone. Ray's words burning in my mind. Don't look outside. I glance at the windows, the flimsy curtains suddenly feeling like no protection at all. The logger stories creep back, whispers of things that lure you out, that watch from the trees. I shake my head, trying to steady breath, trying to logic it away. It's a bear, or maybe a cougar. Something spooked by the rain, but the tracks, the silence, that smell, they don't add up. I stoke the fire, tossing on logs until it roars, the heat stinging my face. The flames cast flickering shadows on the pine walls, and I lock every window and door, double-checking the bolts. As I draw the curtains, my fingers brush the cold glass, and I fight the urge to peek out into the dark. Whatever's out there, I tell myself, it's just the woods. The fire roars, its heat washing over me as I sit on the floor, back against the couch, clutching my mug of cold coffee. The cabin feels smaller now, the pine walls closing in as the darkness outside presses against the windows. I've checked the locks twice, drawn every curtain tight, the faded fabric barely holding back the night. Uncle Ray's voice loops in my head. Don't look outside, no matter what you hear. And I try to focus on the fire's crackle, the only sound breaking the oppressive silence. The absence of birds, crickets, anything is louder than ever, like the forest is waiting for something to happen. I tell myself it's just an animal, spooked by the rain, circling the clearing because it's curious. But those tracks, and that sour metallic smell, they don't fit any animal I know. The logger stories creep in again, tales of shadow beasts that call to you, luring you out. I shake it off, sipping the bitter dregs of my coffee, willing my heart to slow down. Then it starts, like the one from last night, but louder, closer, just beyond the cabin walls. It's not in the deep woods anymore. It's right there, maybe at the edge of the clearing. I freeze, my mug clattering to the table, the noise swallowed by another louder call, this one almost a scream. The fire pops, sending a spark skittering, but it can't drown out heavy steps crunching in the wet gravel, circling, closer than before. My breath catches, and I pull my knees to my chest, eyes darting to the windows. I try to logic it through. Bear, it's gotta be a bear. They make weird noises sometimes, right? Huffing, grunting, maybe even screaming if they're hurt. My mind spins through the logger tales, creatures that mimic, that know how to draw you out. No, that's nonsense. I'm just tired, wired from no sleep and too much coffee. The flames flaring hot against my face, and check my phone. No signal now, of course. The Wi-Fi router blinking uselessly in the corner. Ray's coming back tomorrow, I remind myself. Just firm but brittle. Just gotta make it through the night. The noises stop for a moment. The silence rushing back, thick and heavy. I'm about to let out a breath when it changes. A voice, faint but clear, cutting through the quiet.
Ellie, please, help me.
Ray? No, he's in Alaska on a boat, not out there in the dark. But it comes again, louder.
Ellie, I'm hurt. Please.
The voice is his, rough and familiar, like he's hurt, stumbling through the trees. My mind reels. Did his truck break down? Did he come back early? But why would he be out there calling like that? I stand, bear spray in hand, my pulse hammering in my ears. Ray's words scream in my head. Don't look outside. But it's his voice, and it's so real, like he's in trouble. What if he's hurt? I can't just sit here. I creep toward the window by the door, the floorboards creaking under my socks. The curtains are drawn, but a sliver of moonlight leaks through a gap. My fingers tremble as I reach for the fabric. I know I shouldn't, but I can't stop myself. I nudge the curtain aside, just an inch, and peek out. The clearing is bathed in pale moonlight, the trees looming like silent giants. At first, I see nothing, just the gravel path, the shed, the dark wall of the forest. Then, movement, a shape, tall and hunched, slipping between the trees at the edge of the clearing. It's too big for a bear, too fluid, its outline blurry against the shadows. My breath catches, fogging the glass, and that smell hits again, stronger now. The shape pauses, and I swear it turns, like it knows I'm watching. No face, no eyes, just a void where its head should be, and my stomach drops. The voice comes again. Ray's voice, but it's wrong now, warped.
Ellie, Open the door.
I yank the curtain shut, stumbling back, my heart slamming so hard I can barely breathe. That wasn't Ray. It can't be Ray. I clutch the bear spray, backing toward the fire. Its heat, the only thing keeping me grounded. The voice fades, Ray's warped pleas dissolving into the night, leaving only the heavy silence pressing in. I huddle by the fire, bear spray clutched in one hand, my back against the stone hearth, the heat searing through my shirt. The flames dance wildly, casting jagged shadows on the walls, but they do little to chase away the chill crawling up my spine. That shape outside, too tall, too wrong, with that void where eyes should be. It wasn't a bear, wasn't anything natural. I try to tell myself it was a trick of the moonlight, exhaustion playing games with my mind, but the smell lingers. Uncle Ray's words hammer in my head. Don't look outside. Too late for that. Then, the porch creaks, a slow, deliberate groan of wood underweight, like something heavy stepping up from the gravel. My breath catches, shallow and ragged, as footsteps thud across the boards, uneven, dragging slightly with each shift. It's right there, just beyond the door, the floor vibrating with its movement. I can hear it breathing now, wet, rasping inhales, like air rattling through a throat that's not quite right. A low sniff follows, probing along the doorframe, as if it's tasting the air for my scent. The doorknob rattles once. My heart slams against my ribs, and I bite my lip to keep from making a sound. I don't move for what feels like hours, frozen, ears straining for any sign of its return. When I finally stand, my legs wobble and I pace the cabin, looking around, needing to do something, anything. What am I even looking for? A weapon? A phone signal? Some proof this isn't all in my head? I start rummaging, pulling open drawers in the kitchenette, the clatter of utensils too loud in the quiet. Canned goods shift on shelves, mason jars clinking as I shove them aside. Nothing. I move to the shortwave radio on the windowsill, twisting knobs frantically, but it's just static. Ray's coming tomorrow, I remind myself, but tomorrow feels like a lifetime away. I head to his room, the door creaking as I push it open, the air inside cooler, musty with disuse. His bed is neatly made, the quilt tucked tight. In the nightstand drawer, I find a flashlight, batteries still good, and a worn leather journal, its pages yellowed and dog-eared. My hands shake as I flip it open, the firelight from the main room spilling in just enough to read. It's Ray's handwriting, scrawled entries dating back years, logging notes at first, weather, catches from the creek, but then it shifts. Sketches of tracks like the ones I found. Heard it again tonight. One entry reads, dated last fall. Calls like a wounded man, but no one's out there. Tracks circle the cabin. Stayed inside. Kept fire high. Old-timers were right. Something's in these woods. Something that watches, mimics. Not animal, not human. Another page. Logger from 82 went missing. I slam the journal shut, heart racing, but keep searching, desperation fueling me. Under Ray's bed, tucked in a dusty case, I find it, a shotgun, old but solid, the metal cold and heavy in my hands. Shells rattle in a box beside it. I've shot one before, years ago with Ray, but holding it now feels different, real and terrifying. I load it with trembling fingers, the click of the shells sliding home echoing in the room. The weight grounds me, a sliver of control in the chaos. Back in the main room, I prop it against the couch within reach and add more wood to the fire, the flames roaring back to life. The porch is silent now, but I know it's out there, waiting in the trees. Sink down, shotgun across my lap, eyes on the door. Dawn can't come soon enough, but even then, what if it doesn't leave? What if it's been here all along? Voices return, not Ray's, mine, my ex's, warped.
Ellie, why'd you look?
I hum a tune, loud to drown it out, gripping the shotgun. At 4 a.m., scratching starts, that smell seeping in. I feed the fire, flames looking angry, and wait, eyes on the door. Dawn's gray light creeps through curtain gaps, scratching gone. I grip the shotgun, unlock the door, and step out. Tracks circle tighter, deeper, leading to the shed. The diesel cans tipped, lids off, a smeared print on the rim. Too long, too many digits, like fingers twisted wrong. The shadow in the trees vanishes as dawn breaks, gray light filtering through the mist. The eerie silence eases, a lone bird chirping hesitantly, like the forest is waking up. The tracks circling the clearing glisten in the dew, trailing toward the shed and into the woods. That sour metallic stench fades, overpowered by damp pine. I stand on the porch, shotgun heavy in my hands, heart still racing. Whatever it was, morning's driven it off, for now. The diesel can by the shed is tilted but not fully spilled, propped against a stump, a slow drip pooling in the mud. I set the shotgun down, grab the can, and pour what's left into the generator, the liquid glugging softly. My eyes scan the tree line, but nothing moves. I don't linger. Grabbing the last few logs from the firewood stack, I make 2 quick trips, arms full, bark scraping my skin. Inside, I bolt the door, dump the wood by the hearth, and stoke the fire, flames crackling as they catch. Ray's journal sits on the couch, its warnings about mimics and fire echoing in my head. I push it aside, not wanting to read more. I pace the cabin, shotgun within reach, the fire's warmth doing little to calm my nerves. The air's heavy, the pine scent barely masking that faint, rotten reek. No birds, no wind, just silence, waiting. My phone's dead, no signal, and Ray's text, almost there, feels like a lifeline. I sip cold coffee, its bitterness sharp, and check the locks again, impatient. Every creak making me jump. Hours drag, the fire burning low, logs dwindling. I hum to drown out the memory of those voices. Mine, Ray's, warped and wrong. Then, tires crunch on gravel, growing louder. My heart leaps. I creep to the window, shotgun ready, and peek through the curtain. Ray's truck rolls into the clearing, headlights cutting the dusk. A figure steps out, broad, flannel-clad, Ray's build. But he moves slow, head tilted, listening. That smell creeps back, faint but sharp. I grip the shotgun, Ray's warning ringing. Don't open the door till you're sure. I wait, not moving. Ray's figure stands motionless by the porch. The fire crackles behind me, its glow flickering on the pine walls, but the cabin feels colder, smaller, as the silence outside presses in. I squint through the curtain slit, heart pounding. It's Ray's build, broad shoulders, flannel, that familiar slouch, but something's off. The way he stands, too still, feels wrong, like a puppet waiting for strings to pull. I lean closer, my breath fogging the glass, and call out, voice shaky but firm. Ray, that you? Say something. The figure shifts, head turning toward the window, and for a second, I swear there's no face, just a dark blur. Then his voice comes, gruff and familiar, cutting through the quiet.
Ellie, it's me. Damn truck nearly didn't make it. Open the door, kiddo.
It's his voice, the same one that teased me about getting lost, but my gut twists. That smells stronger now, choking like wet rot and metal. I hesitate, finger near the trigger, and try again. Ray, what's the name of the fish you caught last summer? The big one you bragged about? A pause. Too long. The silence heavy. Then,
That coho salmon, 8 pounds. Mounted it on the wall.
my eyes dart to the fireplace where the mounted fish hangs, its scales glinting. He's right. It's Ray. It has to be. I let out a shaky breath, set the shotgun against the couch, and cross to the door, hands trembling as I slide the bolt back. The door creaks open and Ray steps in, his boots heavy on the planks, his beard catching the firelight.
Hell, Ellie. You look like you've seen a ghost.
He says, dropping his duffel by the table. I laugh, weak, and hug him, his wool jacket rough against my cheek, smelling of pipe tobacco and wood smoke. Not that foul reek. It's him. You scared the crap out of me, I mutter, stepping back. Those tracks, Ray, and the noises. Something's out there. It was circling last night, calling my name. His face hardens, the lines around his eyes deepening as he glances at the drawn curtains.
Told you to stay put.
He says, voice low.
You didn't follow the tracks, did you?
I wince, nodding, just to the shed. They're everywhere, Ray. He curses under his breath, grabbing the shotgun and checking its load.
Should've told you more.
He says, almost to himself.
Thought you'd be fine for a week.
Before I can ask what he means, a low rumble cuts through the air, just beyond the clearing. It's that guttural call again. Ray freezes, shotgun raised, eyes locked on the door.
Get behind me!
He snaps, Voice all business now. The fire pops, but it's not loud enough to drown out the crunch of gravel outside. That smell floods in, thick and noxious, like rotting meat and rusted iron seeping through the cracks. The curtains twitch, not from wind, but something brushing the window. Ray edges toward the door, shotgun steady, and whispers,
Stay quiet, don't move.
My heart's hammering, but I nod. Crouching by the couch, eyes darting between him and the windows. The steps stop, replaced by a wet, rasping breath. So close it feels like it's inside the cabin. Then the voice, mine, warped and pleading.
Ray, help me. Outside.
It's coming from the porch, soft but sharp. Ray's jaws tightens, and he shakes his head, muttering,
Not falling for that again.
Again. My stomach drops, but there's no time to ask. Hits the door, hard enough to rattle the hinges, and the voice shifts to Ray's, gruff but wrong.
Ellie, open the door. It's me.
The fire gutters, flames dipping low, and I realize the wood's almost gone. The scratching starts, clawing along the walls, circling, testing. Ray backs up, shotgun aimed at the door, and hisses,
Fire, Ellie! Now!
I scramble to the hearth, tossing the last splintered logs on, the flames flaring briefly. The scratching pauses, but the smell grows stronger, and a shape looms outside the window, a tall, hunched blur, its head a void against the glass. Ray steps forward, shotgun raised, and shouts,
Back off!
The thing doesn't move, but the voices surge. Mine raise, a chorus of others, overlapping, screaming.
Let us in. Let us.
The door shakes again, harder, and I know the locks won't hold forever. The fire's the only thing keeping it at bay. Its flames licking weakly at the last scraps of wood, and the cabin's warmth bleeds away, replaced by that sour, metallic stench, rotting flesh, rusted iron, and a sharp, bloody tang that coats my throat. Ray stands rigid, shotgun aimed at the door, knuckles white around the grip.
Ellie, more wood.
He snaps, voice low and urgent.
Fire's all we've got.
I scramble to the hearth, heart hammering, only to find the wood pile empty, just a few twigs too thin to last. Ray, we're out, I hiss, panic clawing up my throat. The scratching resumes, slow and deliberate. The thing's shadow slides across the curtain. Ray's eyes dart to the oak table and chairs.
Break 'em up!
He says, voice grim.
Table first. Keep that fire alive.
I grab the axe from beside the hearth, its handle cold and smooth, and swing at the table's leg. The blade bites deep, wood splintering with a crack that echoes too loud in the cabin. The voices outside shift, mimicking my swing. Thwack, thwack, mocking, like it's learning my rhythm. I grit my teeth, hacking faster, the table leg giving way with a groan. Ray stays by the door, shotgun steady, muttering,
Faster, Ellie!
A low growl rumbles that shreds my nerves. I take the broken table leg to the hearth, tossing it onto the coals. The flames flare, heat stinging my face. I swing again, splitting another leg, then a chair. The voices surge again, now my voice.
Ellie, why won't you help? It's so dark.
My skin crawls, and I swing the axe harder, splintering the chair's backrest. Ray flinches, his shotgun jerking toward the window where the shadow lingers, a void where its face should be.
It's playing with us.
He growls.
Knows our names, our fears. Feed the fire, Ellie. Don't stop.
I pile the broken wood into the hearth, but the wood burns too fast. A wet, rasping breath follows, probing the walls. My heart slams, and I bite my lip to stay silent. It pauses, as if it smells my fear. Ray flips through his journal, voice low.
Old loggers said it's ancient and hungrier than a bear. Takes your voice and your face to draw you out. Fire's the only thing it fears, but it's patient.
A new sound, a sharp crack from the roof. My stomach drops. It's above us now. Ray grabs the shotgun, eyes darting to the ceiling.
Stay by the fire. It's testing us. Dawn's close. We just gotta hold out.
The voices return, a chorus of everyone I've ever known. My ex, my mom, Ray, pleading, accusing.
Ellie, why'd you look? Why'd you bring us here?
I hum loudly, a shaky tune to drown them out, and clutch the axe, eyes on the door. The fire burns bright, but won't last. A shadow flickers across the curtain. Ray's right. It's patient, and it's learning. We're trapped, with only the fire and a few sticks of wood between us and whatever's hungry for more than our fear. The cabin's warmth seeping into the cold pine walls. The stench chokes the air, thick enough to gag. Ray stands by the door, shotgun raised, his face taut, eyes darting to the windows where shadows flicker across the curtains. The thing outside circles, its claws scraping the walls with deliberate scratches, each one a taunt, waiting for the fire to die.
Ellie, more wood.
Ray mutters, voice tight. The only wood left is the shelves. The voices surge. My voice now, pleading.
Ellie, help me. I'm hurt.
My stomach twists, but I hum louder, the melody faltering. A splintering crack comes from the back wall near the kitchenette, like something's prying at the boards. Ray's eyes meet mine, grim.
Dawn's close.
he says. I nod, throat tight, and move toward the kitchenette, axe in hand, to rip a shelf from the wall.
Ellie, help me.
I swing the axe, the shelf splintering with a sharp crack, jars clattering to the floor. As I drag the broken wood to the hearth, a faint gray light seeps through the curtain gaps, dawn breaking at last. The voices falter, the stench thins, fading into the damp pine scent of morning. I pause, clutching the shelf, and peek through a curtain slit. The clearing's empty, just tracks glistening in the dew, trailing into the woods. Nothing moves.
It's pulling back. Grab your bag, Ellie. We're getting out.
I drop the shelf, snatch my duffel from the floor, and stuff Ray's journal inside. Ray grabs his own bag, slinging the shotgun over his shoulder, and we check the windows one last time. The fire's dead, just ash and smoke. The cabin cold and exposed. We burst out the front door. My truck's parked in the clearing. Ray's truck sits nearby, headlights still on. We sprint across the gravel. I reach my truck, fumbling the keys while Ray yanks at his door,
Damn it!
turning the key to silence.
Battery's dead.
Get in, I shout, engine roaring to life as I slam my door. Ray dives into the passenger seat, shotgun across his lap, his bag tossed in the back. I floor it, tires spitting gravel. The cabin shrinks in the rear view, swallowed by towering firs and hemlocks. Ray scans the trees, his face hard, but the woods are still. No birds, no wind, just a heavy quiet. I glance back once, half expecting that tall, hunched shape with its void face, but there's only mist curling through the branches. The warped voices echo in my memory, the sour stench lingering in my nose. The trail winds toward the highway, the forest blurring past. Ray grips the shotgun, eyes on the side mirror.
It's gone for now,
He mutters.
but it's still out there.
I nod, hands tight on the wheel.